Hey everyone, so I'm just relaxing with little Tiger, who's one of our new residents. And at the moment, today I'm collecting myself after a very difficult week. So this week I've been dealing with street children and the issues they face whilst out on the street in the local town, Moshi. And it's a difficult subject to talk about. These boys and girls are not only homeless and hungry, not only have no one to love them, nowhere to sleep, no food in their bellies, often covered in various different types of fungal infections and stuff because of lack of hygiene, get involved with drugs, sniffing glue. There's reports of children drowning when they sniff the glue and go for a swim or a wash in the rivers and stuff. But unbelievably, there's even worse things happen to these boys and girls. This week I had to sit and listen to a child tell me that he had been raped by men in the town, and they had taught him how to have sex with another man. And it became such a frequent and regular occurrence that it was no longer abuse and rape to him, it was something that happens. So instead of them having to find him, he would go to where this was going on to be abused, because that was his physical contact in life, I guess. That was his routine. And that was just the human contact he had. And this morning, that young man who spent a week with us has gone back to the streets because we can't get through to him. We've done all we can to the best of our ability. And he told us, I prefer life on the street to this life. It's what he knows. That's his home to him. But he doesn't know that the drugs and the sexual abuse is bad, even. It's just his routine. That's his life. This is how desperate these children are. That to be sexually abused becomes a normal everyday job. A normal everyday task, I should say. Part of the routine of daily life. Like brushing your teeth. You head off to be abused. But he's the dark problem as well. The young children who are hitting the streets. These men who have taught the child I'm speaking about sexual intercourse with other men and abused and raped him, will then take younger boys to that boy whilst he does things to that child, and thus the vicious cycle continues. And the only way to stop the cycle is to take the children out of that process and leave those men without any prey. Because they too were once boys on the street who were taught and abused and raped. But at least the mind of a child is still moldable. You can still rescue them. You can still heal them. Or you stand a chance of it at least. So I lost a boy this morning to the streets. But I told him I will open a centre in Moshi for street children. And I said, when I do, will you come there? Will you live there? And he said yes. But he won't live here in Uchira with the normal children or with the special children. And that's just the way it has to be. Regarding legalities as well, actually, a child with such a history is not legally not allowed to live with special needs children when I'm an NGO. So I asked him, I said, if I open a centre in town, will you please come and live there? And he said yes. He said, but until it's open, I have to go back to my home, which is the streets, where he will be abused and he will be raped. And he will abuse now, and he will rape. And he will go hungry and he will take drugs. Until I can open a centre for street children. Now, the centres that do exist, there are ones there. Many are run by Tanzanians, and it's culturally normal to beat children here. So they beat the children, so they don't want to go there. Or those that do stay, because they find that better than the abuse on the streets. Others are so used to the abuse on the streets that they just stick with what they know. At least when they're not at the centre, they can have their drugs and stuff to ease the pain a bit. When they're at the centre, they can't. Those centres that are run by foreign influence or by the whites, as the locals would say, the Mzungus, are going that way too, because they're not sticking around, they're not here. They open these big centres and then they head off back to their home countries and expect it to run itself without them there. And we get reports of children getting locked in cupboards and beaten by the mamas, and it's not working that way. If you have a heart to do something, you've got to stick it out. You can't leave it and hope that other people are going to have the same heart as you, because it won't work. It doesn't work. I see it happening here. These children need people to commit to them. And I am going to spend what resources we have, and in the belief that the God I serve will provide for me, because these children cannot wait to have somewhere to sleep. They can't wait for a place where they will be loved and cared for, where they can have food in their bellies, they can have someone to talk to, and they don't have to be abused and raped by people who have been abused and raped all their life anyway. So this week I have made a decision that I will open Feathers Tail Centre for street children in the local town. And I've no idea how I'm going to afford to run that place, but I had no idea how I would afford to run Feathers Tail. And that which we need always seems to appear when I say a prayer. The thing is, there's no need for these children to suffer like this. There's no need for boys and girls to be raped every day. There's just no need for it. It's dark, it's brutal, and it's not necessary. All they need is a place to go. If they had a place to go, somewhere safe, where these men can't get to them, they wouldn't have this problem. The places they can go where men can't get to them, they're getting beat, so they leave. In some instances, I say, they're just used to the life on the street, so they leave anywhere. But there are people on this planet, as I say this now, who have the ability to fly here today and within a week create such places, where children like this with nothing can come. And those people I speak of can just have a few less numbers on their bank statement each month. There are people on the planet with that ability. They have that ability, but it sits dormant. It sits dormant in their greed, and it sits dormant in their uninformed nature. It sits dormant in their distractions. I wish I was such a person. I wish I had the resources to be able to do that within a week, but I don't. But what I do have is a camera and a YouTube channel. And what I do have is first-hand experience of seeing what happens to these boys. Sitting here right now, I know that one of them's in that town and I don't know what's going on with him or what's happening to him. But I know we love him dearly and there was nothing we can do to stop him going back to the street. But I know he said if I have a centre, he will come to live there because he knows how I run Feather's Tail. He knows how things are here, and he said life here is good compared to the other street centres. If it was like this, then he would come and he would live there. And I can only presume the other boys would do the same. And girls. So I will open Feather's Tail Centre for Street Children. And I guess I can just make this video in the hope that for all I don't have the resources to do it right this very moment. I might have the resources to rent somewhere for sure. But I can at least hope that one of those people, as I say, who can do with a few less numbers on their bank statement, might just board a plane and come and see these children firsthand and understand that right now they need you. They really, really need you. I just wish I could wake you all up somehow. Wish I could wake up your hearts. I wish I could show you firsthand. I guess that's what I'm trying to do. Because we're fighting a losing battle here unless people join in, unless humanity shares with this other aspect of humanity, unless humanity shares with its children. There's no need for suffering of this level on the planet. There's no need for it, for the sake of a house with some staff and some food. So I'm going to spend this week trying to make this happen if I can anyway. So, okay. I'm going to get off. Much love, guys.